speaking of bootleg, repro, counterfeit bullshit games...
When you work at a game store, you have to know how to be able to spot bootlegs and bullshit. And I don't want... At this point, no, I do want to sound like I'm harping on GameStop because... this is exactly what I predicted was going to happen, and I'm sure they'll keep trying to push this retro initiative, but it's not working out for them.
No, and I'll preface this by saying I am getting a couple stories here and there like, whoa, I ordered Flintstones Dino and Hoppy, and I got Dinosaur Peak instead. I don't care if they're fucking up for every fifth person like that. The fact of the matter is they're screwing over way more many people with this horse shit.
Well, and even if you get a better thing than you expected, they're still fucking clueless. And
they're still screwing up. It's just in your favor.
Right, it's still incompetent.
But 99% of the time, they're going to screw up not in your favor. That's the point.
A lot of these have been related to us, secondhand. But I actually have a friend who has been testing the waters with them and ordered a couple of games, and things turned out all right for him the first time. So he figured he would try to get a pricier game.
Which they've opened up to. When they first started,
yeah, they did not want to.
But now they're like, okay, we'll go for higher-end games.
So he decided, he thought the price they had on DuckTales 2, and I don't remember what the price was. He thought the price they had on DuckTales 2 was reasonable. So he ordered a DuckTales 2. It arrived to him, and the colors look weird. And he looks at it for 2 seconds, and right in the lower right-hand corner, it says reproduction label.
Oh, my fucking God.
So he's like, well, okay, this has got to go back, but he pops it in a Nintendo. Nothing. Doesn't turn on.
It doesn't.
Doesn't turn on. Takes it out. Cleans it. Puts back in. Doesn't turn on. Goes, okay, fuck, I'm taking this apart. Takes it apart. It's a fucking Time Lord chipset. Even more fucked up, it looked like someone took a screwdriver and dug across the traces that are just above the pins to cut them so that it wouldn't turn on. Theory being, if someone is afraid of something getting traced back to them and they sell a DuckTales, right, and it doesn't turn on, period, well, then that's better than them trading in a worthwhile game and it turning on and being something else. You know what I'm saying? At that point, so there's I mean that's the story.
Okay, so let's go through this again for the 80th fucking time. A person brings a clearly counterfeit, repro label, expensive $200 plus game into a GameStop.
Is DuckTales 2 that high?
I don't...
whatever, sure.
They bring it into GameStop. The frontline employee can't even see the fucking reproduction on it.
Yep.
They can't even do that. And then they say, okay, you brought this in. Here's your whatever, $80 credit or whatever.
So then they send it off to the facility where they take everything apart and clean it meticulously and test it. And somehow don't notice cut traces.
No, and they don't notice the counterfeit label either.
Yeah.
They turn it on and see nothing. They get out their latex gloves, which I'm never going to get over.
Yeah.
They open it up meticulously. They get their pliers out. They get their bit driver, and they see that horror show, and then they realize, hey, this isn't turning on. So then when they put that in, this is clearly a DuckTales 2 folder or drawer, and then it gets shipped out to someone.
Or they wipe their ass with it and throw it in a bin and dig it out when they need to send it out. Because they're not fucking testing or checking a goddamn thing. Someone sends us a picture of a Conker's Bad Fur Day with a red cart.
Yeah,
that
on Twitter.
Exist. That's not a thing. That's All-Star Baseball or Jeremy McGrath.
That's the good old Jeremy McGrath Motocross 2000, whatever.
Holy shit. And then
there was someone tweeted at me, and again, you can say, if you're still in sort of that really weird, first of all, if you're defending GameStop, I don't know why you are, unless you're on the fucking board. What are you, the CFO?
Even the employees I know don't defend GameStop.
It's just a really bizarre fucking, I hate to say it, truther mentality that you're smarter than everyone else and not seeing that GameStop doesn't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yes.
It's as simple as easy as that. So again, this is someone Ian knows. We've got many stories. We have a red Conkers that someone was sent, and then I get tweeted out a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters, real clear as day, reproduction on the label. So it's like it's every fucking week now, and GameStop doesn't care because they're getting your money. Now, of course, you can say,
but you can return it.
You can return it.
It doesn't. But that's not the fucking point.
It shouldn't get to that point.
The point is, if the program isn't fucking working, then the program is useless.
They are lying, GameStop. They're not being tested. They're not. There's no frontline distance. They're not training their employees to look for repros, as they've said this. They have said they are training employees to look for these. They said that these are being cleaned and tested at a facility that a huge article was written on where they had photo opportunities. They are lying. That is the point. The point is not that you can return it. The point is that this bullshit should not have happened in the first place. They should not have gotten into a market that they clearly were over their heads in.
I said from minute one, this is going to be fucked. They have no idea what they're doing. Retro is too big, too broad, and too nuanced for a corporation like GameStop to even fucking understand. They just can't do it.
They've exceeded my expectations of how they'd fuck this up. Now, honestly, I thought they'd slip through here and there.
They actually have.
But having a red Conkers, I mean, seriously?
And here's the thing, like, even if, like, and all I can say is I believe all the stories that we're hearing at this point, but even if one or two of these are faked to make GameStop look bad, a lot of them aren't, and now that I have a close personal friend who showed me all the documentation, and I've seen it, I mean, it's right there.
I trust that the Chrono Trigger that, remember we did the random story?
Got sold twice.
And then the guy emails me saying, I think that was mine from before.
Yeah.
So it's like, they don't care.
No, they just, so, I mean, I don't know what else to say.
We'll still talk about it, because you know what? I think it has to be said. Is it clickbaity? Sure, a little bit at this point, but it has to be said. Yeah. This is bullshit.
I'm yeah. So, anyways, it's so there's your GameStop retro fuck ups of the week
of the day, probably. At this point.
Of the day. A.